Hello and good morning. Mumbai is known as India's most cosmopolitan city, a place where every community, every language finds a home. But this very idea came under fire earlier this week when MNS goons, Maharashtra Navnirman Sena goons, and its leaders and workers decided to assault a poor shopkeeper in Thane. And the reason? Because he did not know Marathi. Of course, an FIR has been registered. This is not the first time that MNS workers are going ahead and assaulting people for not knowing Marathi. Today, of course, we demand arrests of these goons. NDTV is running a campaign seeking their arrest so that this doesn't repeat. In fact, we ask several of Mumbaikars who are standing with me here, is it fair to expect people to know Marathi? And isn't it against the idea of a multilinguistic culture that Mumbai really boasts of? I have with me Deepak. Before I go to our reporters on ground, Deepak, you are a resident of South Bombay. And the question really is it fair that people are expected to speak in Marathi, let alone, let's not even get into violence part of it. That is absolutely illegal. But, this is a multicultural society. That's what Mumbai takes pride in. So what is your take on this entire issue?
See, we live in Mumbai, okay? I travel to different part of the world. Whenever I go to Europe or any other country, I try to mingle with them, try to speak with their language. But none of them have ever slapped me or abused me to speak their language. Because that they want to welcome everyone, every community, every part of the world, people there. But even in India, when I go to different states of India, people don't really slap me or even try to abuse me to speak their own regional languages. Why it is now the things are changing in Mumbai. Mumbai was such a beautiful place. Everybody around the world came to Mumbai to do business, to make money here. Now everyone is talking about more than India, they talk about Mumbai now. But if we go back to a place where you want to go and destroy everything, then this is not fair. Even if our culture never teaches us to hate people on basis of their caste, religion or language, then where is this growing up? And these people, I would like to communicate a message to these MNS people. You talk a lot about their religion, your caste and everything about their language. Did Shivaji Maharaj, the one you actually followed, did he discriminate people on the basis of on their language as well? No, he did not. He welcomed everyone. That's why he was considered to be the most strongest leader. And he's still been praised by every other community and every other religion and every other language the person speaks. So I request you, if you really want the Mumbai to progress, you should have that courage to welcome and adjust to the environment and to live and together as a normal.
Absolutely well said, Deepak. So you heard it from Mumbaikars here. I'll come to you as well. So here, what is being said is that, one cannot be discriminated, in terms of language. And that is something extremely unfair. And what is happening here is unacceptable. The fact that they are they're resorting to violence to really enforce a language, that is absolutely unacceptable. Is something that the residents here say. Before I go across to other residents, let me also move to Thane, to Meera Road, where my colleague Sujata is standing by. Sujata, you've been covering this story extensively. My question really is, what are the cops saying at this point? Of course, an FIR has been registered. People have been booked, but no arrests yet. You've been speaking to MNS workers who very audaciously is supporting their action.
Well, yes, Radhika, and yesterday we spoke to DCP Zone 1, Mr. Prakash Gaikwad, and we did ask him that what is taking them so, what is making it so difficult for them to arrest these goons who happen to be slapping people and calling it their loyalty to their particular political party. And he says that because it was Section 35 of the BNS which has been applied, which makes it difficult for them to make arrest in the case, because under these sections, imprisonment is only for 3 years and it cannot be done so because it is a cognizable offence. Now, why were even stricter sections not added to the case? And even after, we know that it was not the shopkeeper's fault, and all of a sudden they go in and they start hitting him for something like a language, which actually led to people creating a sense of fear, and also at the same time, these trade unions coming out in large numbers and protesting. However, the police at this point says it is not in their hands, and because of these loopholes in the legality, the accountability is currently at stake of what really, is going to happen when it comes to such incidents on a rise, and how does the police just sit alone stating that it is because of the sections that have been applied because of which arrest cannot be made. Now at this point it is likely that the police might also file a charge sheet in the matter in the next week, after which there will be a follow-up of whether arrest could be made post the charge sheet is filed. So there are multiple such happening at the same time. But yesterday the protest that was carried out by the trade unions, now the MNS accuses that the BJP workers and only BJP party members were a part of this protest, and it was not a protest by the trade unions. However, the victim in the case, Babulal Chaudhary, is still crying for justice, stating that what has happened to him is traumatizing, and his reputation, his health too is badly affected, but yet no stringent action being taken, and he's questioning that if something like this happens again, is it that the goons will get away just like that, or will the police really ensure that they need to add such stricter sections that could lead to arrest being made? But for now, all of these 7 people who have been named in the FIR, out of which 5 had been given notices, yesterday 3 of them, they did go to the DCP office for formal questioning, but after which they were set free. So this is again a big challenge for our system to understand that people cannot just go away with it, and action needs to be taken. Over to you.
Absolutely, action needs to be taken. So far, no stringent charges against any of these individuals, which is why no arrest has been made, which is quite shocking at this point. But NDTV will, of course, continue to run this campaign demanding the arrest of every one of those MNS goons. And let me go back to the residents before I go to Anuj, who will give us political updates on this entire issue. Sir, आप Bombay के रहने वाले हैं, and language is certainly becoming a flashpoint. We know that there is this Hindi imposition that people talk about. Now, Marathi imposition is something that the MNS very strongly believes in, but they're also resorting to violence. How do you look at this entire issue? Do you really think it's fair for people to know Marathi language in a city like Mumbai?
सबसे पहले मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि ये भारतीय संविधान के जो मूल अधिकार है उसका पूरी तरह से हनन हो रहा है। जो व्यक्ति कहीं भी रहे भारत के अंदर, उसको अपनी भाषा में क्या बोलना है, क्या खाना है, क्या पहनना है, उसका पूरा अधिकार है। हम सब भाषाओं का सम्मान करते हैं। जैसे हिंदी हमारी माँ है तो मराठी हमारी मौसी है। हम जहाँ भी जाते हैं पूरे भारत में, कहीं भी तमिलनाडु जाओ, तेलुगु में जाओ, लेकिन अपनी भाषा अपन बोलते हैं, लेकिन दूसरों की भाषाओं का मैं सम्मान करता हूँ। मैं ये नहीं बोलता कि मराठी, उसका भी उतना ही सम्मान है, लेकिन हर व्यक्ति को कोई भी सब भाषा आनी जरूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि कई हमारे जो बुजुर्ग हैं, हम राजस्थान से आए हुए हैं, महाराणा प्रताप की भूमि से, और शिवाजी का भी उतना ही आदर करते हैं, महाराणा छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज का जितना महाराणा प्रताप का करते हैं, क्योंकि इन्होंने देश को आज़ाद कराने में ये अपनी जो मराठा शक्तियों को साथ में दोनों ने काम किया, तो वो भी अपनी अपनी भाषा में बात कर रहे थे। तो मेरा कहने का मतलब यही है, ये सिर्फ ये पॉलिटिकल स्टंट के अलावा और कुछ नहीं है। आपको अगर राजनीति करनी है किसी भी पार्टी को, चाहे वो किसी भी पार्टी से संबंधित हो, तो वो राजनीति करे। जो मुंबई की जो बदहाल व्यवस्था है, जिसमें 2 दिन की बारिश में पानी भर जाते हैं, स्मृति जो बड़े बड़े पुल हैं उसमें खड्डे हो जाते हैं, गटर है, उसकी आप सुविधा कीजिए, लोगों को उसको पहुँचाइए। हम किसी का भी विरोध नहीं करते हैं, सबका सम्मान करते हैं, लेकिन अपना आत्मसम्मान बनाए रखने के लिए हम होते हैं, एक होते हैं, और उसमें कोई गलत बात भी नहीं है, क्योंकि हमको सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरे को मराठी आती है मैं नहीं बोलता। अगर मुझे आती है तो मैं मराठी भी बोलता हूँ। हमारे भी कई लोग हैं जो 50 साल से मुंबई में रह रहे हैं, वो मराठी में भी अपनी बात करते हैं, तो ये अच्छी बात है। हम उसको नहीं बोलते कि आप हिंदी में बोलिए। तो मेरा कहने का मतलब यही है कि जो भाषा आपको आए, जो आपको बोलने में सहजता से बोल सको, उसको बोलना चाहिए और सबका सम्मान करना चाहिए। Vande Bharat, Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
All right, so this is just a political stunt, and there are other pressing issues that every political leader or party should be looking at, is what this gentleman here has said. Let me go across to Anuj, who's standing by to give us updates on the political reactions as far as this entire case is concerned. Anuj, this comes a day ahead of MNS going to share stage with UBT Sena, which is Raj Thakre is going to share stage with Uddhav after many years. Estranged cousins are coming together, but in the middle of all of this violent incident has taken place. What is the kind of reaction that you're seeing among politicians at this point? Political leaders such as Uddhav Thakre, Aditya Thakre, they have reacted, and opposition parties have also reacted to it. Tell us, what the general sense is among political circles as far as this entire MNS episode is concerned.
Radhika, multiple things about this entire issue. Firstly, we see that the entire state had united like never before against the perceived imposition of Hindi, right from April 2025. It eventually forced government to backtrack from the decision that they'd taken to make Hindi a mandatory or a default language from class 1 to class 5. Following that, of course, there was a celebratory mood, and bouncing onto that, UBT and MNS announced a Vijay Morcha will be taking place tomorrow. But in the middle of all of this, one thing that a lot of local residents of Maharashtra who were, behind or rallying behind this movement in fighting against the imposition of Hindi are also questioning the means through which the political parties are trying to, force, quote unquote, force certain people, the working class of the city, people who are relatively poorer as compared to the rest in speaking the language. Now, there are multiple incidents that we are talking about. What we saw in Mera Bhainder is not a one-off incident, right? It has a past. These things have been happening for a long period of time. And the line here becomes very thin in, disrespecting the regional language and imposing, what is also considered to be a language spoken by the greater masses in the country. But as far as the political reaction is concerned, all the parties, majority of the parties, except of course for MNS and UBT, have spoken against this violence. They've said that it is completely, futile, and violence in such kind of movements only reduces or takes away the credibility or the momentum that this entire movement has undertaken in the last couple of months. But more importantly, the statement by the Minister of State, Home Department, Yogesh Kadam, yesterday becomes very crucial, wherein we saw that he did speak about how respecting the language of the state becomes very important. But while he spoke very, very clearly about that, the same amount of clarity was not quite visible when asked whether such kind of attacks would be condemned. And that becomes a reason for us to believe that an arrest or an action by the state against these MNS workers might seem a little improbable at this point.
All right. Thank you, Anuj, for getting us all of those details. We'll keep tracking the story with both Anuj as well as Sujata. Of course, Marathi, Divya, is the native language of Maharashtra, no doubt. It must be preserved and celebrated, but resorting to violence to enforce Marathi is something that cannot be accepted, and NDTV will, of course, continue this campaign demanding the arrest of MNS goons. Over to you.